This is Brass Check, and we're recording this on May 12th, and we're referring to an article that came out yesterday on May 11th, so we're right on top of things. And this is about an article that appeared in New Scientist, which is supposedly a serious science publication, and it just goes to show you the really utter corruption and degeneracy that is taking place in science, has been for decades. I have a thing on my wall. Repeat after me. Mercury, no problem. Aluminum, no problem. Diesel fumes, no problem. High fructose corn syrup, no problem. Glyphosate, no problem. GMOs, no problem. There you go. Now you're an employable scientist. Bottom line, if somebody is making it and selling it in massive quantities, there is never a problem with it. And this is the new career path for 21st century scientists, in quotes. And when they're not obscuring the harm caused by certain substances, they are helping promote preposterous drug and vaccine treatments by exaggerating diseases. So here's their latest and greatest headline from the New Scientist. This is not, by the way, from the National Enquirer or some other idiot. Well, actually, the National Enquirer is surprisingly accurate compared to some of these bozos. So I'm not going to even call this comparable to the National Enquirer. It's beneath the National Enquirer. So here's the headline: COVID-19 news. Concern over black fungus in COVID-19 patients in India. And here we go, the latest corona news virus update. Every day, including coronavirus cases, the latest news, features, and interviews from new scientists and essential information about the COVID-19 epidemic or pandemic. And clearly reporting mindlessly on COVID is a major industry now. All you have to do is read press releases from the CDC and the World Health Organization and quote Tony Fauci, and you're done for the day. And that's now journalism. So anyway, the latest coronavirus news. India's government tells doctors to look out for signs of black fungus in COVID-19 patients. My God, that's pretty frightening. So let's get under the hood here. A rare black fungus which can invade the brain and cause deadly disease. Holy smokes, right? Did that get your attention? Is increasingly being detected in COVID-19 patients in India. By the way, we did a show, and I'll put the link below. Remember that disease that was striking infants? It was increasingly being found in infants, and it may be linked to COVID. Well, that it turned out to be utter bullshit. It was readable as utter bullshit the day it came out. And this too is utter bullshit. So let's continue. So this black fungus is being increasingly detected in COVID-19 patients amid its second surge of infections. The fungus called mucormycosis is commonly found in soils and on plants and does not normally pose a threat as it can be dealt with by the body's immune system. And yes, there are many weird things out there. We live in a sea of them, and the body, when healthy, deals with them quite well. Thank you very much. Now, they go on and say, however, people with conditions that weaken the immune system, such as diabetes and some cancers, as well as people who take medications such as steroids, which suppress the immune system, are more prone to the spores developing into an infection. All right, so if you get past the headline and you get past the scary first sentence, you find out that this particular problem is found in people that have beaten up immune systems. And of course, they only talk about things like diabetes and cancer. They don't talk about malnutrition, which can certainly reduce somebody's immunity. They don't talk about environmental things, pesticides, for example. or industrial pollution. Now, they never mention that because that doesn't weaken the immune system. That makes us stronger. But they do mention these diseases as being one of the things that weakens the immune system. Nobody ever asks if maybe a beaten up immune system is what allows, cancer to take root in the first place. But that's a whole other issue. So anyway, they finally get to the truth, which is that the people that are getting this rare black fungus, this is not that rare, obviously, because it's a condition they're already aware of. They already know what causes it. And they amazingly admit that the glorious products of big pharma, including steroids, which they give to people for everything now, can suppress the immune system. So, but we got to link it to COVID, otherwise we don't have new headlines for today. So India's government, what does that mean? Has told doctors to look for signs of the fungus in COVID-19 patients as cases appear to be on the rise. Appear. So they're nobody can go back later and call them liars because they said, well, we said appear. We didn't say it was the actual case. Now this is good. If you continue to read, experts think treatment of severe COVID-19 symptoms, well, they really should say severe COVID-19 symptoms. There's no such thing as severe COVID-19. There are people that have it, a very strong reaction to it. But anyway, experts think that the treatment of severe COVID-19 with steroids, such as dexamethasone, may be increasing the risk of mucormycosis by suppressing the immune system, particularly in patients with underlying health conditions like diabetes. So again, if you go past the headline, which frankly very few people are going to do, most people are going to see the headline and go, holy God, COVID is even worse than we thought. And then if they read the first sentence, they're going to think, oh my God, COVID's causing black fungus to grow in our brains. No, people who are already quite ill, for whom COVID is just one of many, many problems they have, when they're treated with steroids, get a further reduction of their immune system, which of course makes the COVID more virulent. And it makes this black fungus, it empowers this black fungus to move and go places it doesn't belong because there's no immune system to fight it. So that's the news. So if you heard about the black fungus that's growing in the brains of COVID patients, well, that's the rest of the story. And to New Scientist's credit, if you actually read the whole thing past the alarmist headlines and past the alarmist first sentence, you'll get a little glimmer into what the actual problem is. This has been Brass Check, and thank you to everybody that supports our work. We have thrown Google off of our site, and that means our revenue is severely diminished. However, every day we wake up and see that Google is not on our site is a happy day. We would be even happier if those who benefit from the reporting that we do would consider supporting us so that we can pay our server bill and our email bill and our tech helper bill, and maybe even I will make some money from this someday. But those who are supporting us, thank you very much. You're the reason that we are able to continue and are able to put something out every day. You're the reason for our extensive COVID coverage. I think we'll rank our coverage with anything out there. But in any event, if you're worried about getting COVID and COVID giving you black fungus in your brain, it's a very unlikely outcome unless you're malnourished and or the victim of environmental poisoning and or have severe underlying health conditions and or are on a heavy course of steroids. So that's a lot of ifs, and you probably are not somebody in that condition.